Welcome back to the Bryan Devore Connection. I'm your host, Bryan Devore. So I've been involved in a local organization called 6 Degrees Connections for the last couple of years now. I've really enjoyed my time there, and I think it's time we talk to the people who started this thing and who run this thing so you can learn more about the benefits of 6 Degrees Connections. So here to talk about 6 Degrees Connections is Eric Ozarowski. Eric, how are you today?
Hi, Brian. I'm good. Happy Friday.
Thank you. You too. I always try to make sure I get that last name out. Eric's easy, but
Yeah.
it's the last name. Unfortunately, Christina could not be here today.
Unfortunately, she's not feeling well.
Yeah,
She rarely gets sick,
Yeah.
and today was the day.
Yeah,
so,
of course.
Yeah,
Well,
bummer.
we'll still give her a shout out
Yeah.
because you guys are partners together in this endeavor. Tell us about who you guys are and what is 6 Degrees?
Yeah, so Christine is my business partner, my wife, my better half, all the things.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry you're stuck with me.
It's all right.
But so 6 Degrees, I get really excited by the idea that one connection can change each of our lives. So we run a business community that helps people do that. So basically, rather than talking about networking, we consider ourselves a relationship development organization, and we're focused on helping people get better at building deep, meaningful relationships, professional relationships. So where did you learn how to do that? How important for you are relationships to your business?
Right.
Right. So most people, if I ask that question, it's everything.
Huge, right.
And where did we learn how to do that, or where's the place that I can go practice and actually build those partnerships, those relationships?
Right. Why did you want to start this?
For us, it was coming out of the pandemic, and we just saw an opportunity of, if you remember, it was 5 years ago. It was kind of crazy.
Yeah.
But 5 years ago, when everything was shut down and we were all isolated, Christina and I both felt like we're really good at bringing people together. And we just saw this opportunity, like this is something that people need, not necessarily even know that they want. And so for us, it was all about just bringing people back together in person. So almost everything that we do right now is in person. We have a few virtual events, but we're really focused on the human connection in a world of technology and AI and everything that's coming. I think the stuff like this and sitting down in person is going to be even more valuable.
100%.
Yeah.
So we'll get in the nuts and bolts in just a second, but I want to really focus just for a moment on the difference between this and other organizations, other groups. There are some other great groups out there, networking groups and so forth. Not to knock any of them, they all have a great place and purpose.
Yeah.
This is different.
Yeah.
How?
So, I mean, for you, I'm curious for what your experience, how has it been different for you? Because I know you're involved in a bunch of other stuff.
Yeah, for sure. So for me, I have really enjoyed the fact that the connections I've made in there, very different than the connections in other groups.
Yeah.
Variety of backgrounds, a variety of industries, which is super helpful for me because I can learn from people who are outside of sort of the real estate space, the senior space, and just kind of hear their backgrounds and where they're coming from. And it immediately puts me in a place of how can I help them, in the work that they're doing. Maybe it's a connection, maybe it's a resource. So I've enjoyed the difference between, say, that and another type of a group where, maybe it's, all about referrals.
Right.
And
Right.
of course, we do give referrals in this group.
I would say the difference is that's the end result.
Yeah.
That we're all chasing, right? So rather than starting with kind of this transactional, okay, we met, now you owe me business because we're part of this group.
Right.
The end result is the business, and then, so how do we start with the relationship? How do we get to know each other first? And that's where we spend a lot of time putting really thought and care into the programming to help our members be able to do that in an organic way, so that the business can come.
Right.
Right. That's the end result that we're all kind of chasing. So I would say that's the main way we're different. Two main ways we're different is, one, we kind of focus on the relationship aspect, and trust that if I show up and I build the relationships, like the business is going to come. But we talk about
organically
getting to know someone and building trust. So how do you build trust? And a lot of it is just by design in the nature of what we do.
Right.
And then I would say the second thing is Christine and I both come from the hospitality world. So we bring a lot of just psychology and just high level, almost white glove service to the way we think about putting an event on or hosting a group. There's a lot of details that kind of get overlooked, and it's, for a lot of people that are hosting events, it's really easy to just kind of throw some drinks on a table, and have some snacks and call it a happy hour. Right. And we spend a lot of time trying to think through the flow and how to make sure that people are able to meet in a way that's kind of productive and not cliquey, right? And warm and welcoming. So we really try to focus on that aspect and to differentiate ourselves.
So it's really about intention. The
100%.
intention of the group and putting the groups together, the intention of the purpose, the intention of the events. details in everything.
100%.
So you have a variety of ways that
Yeah.
people connect. We have the monthly stretches. You talk about
Yeah,
everything.
Sure. I love that you said purpose, and I love that you said intention just a second ago. So, we're the phrase that I think really kind of encompasses what we do is we want to help our members lead on purpose and connect with intention. That's the goal. And so our purpose at 6 Degrees is we enrich lives, we propel each other into our highest potential, and we believe when we do that, our connections can transform dreams into reality. That's the goal. That's the mission that we're on.
Yeah.
So everything that we do aligns with that purpose. And so the way that we do that, we have groups. We call them growth groups. The growth groups have stretches instead of meetings. The main reason for that is we all have too many meetings on our calendar.
Yeah.
None of us need another meeting. And so it's not actually stretching. We've had a few people go, "Oh, I thought it was like yoga." It's like, no, it's not. It's not that, right? So we have people. Really, the intention with that is bringing people together in a way that is energizing, refreshing. So one of our members actually came up with a name because they said it kind of feels like when I'm been working at my desk for 8 hours and I show up in this group and it's like standing up from my desk and walking around the block and kind of feeling re-energized and kind of refocused. That's how so many people that are our members kind of feel while they're in part of the group. So we have the groups. We have leadership labs. So these are kind of leadership workshops around emotional intelligence, communication. So one of the biggest aspects of building relationships is communication.
Yeah.
And most humans, as a human, we suck at it in terms of being able to connect with someone, being able to have my intention match my impact of how we're showing up. So how do I be more aware, more awake, and be better at communicating to build those connections, to build those relationships. So we have these workshops that we spend, a couple days. Usually they're very immersive, very experiential learning. It's not just me talking about, some slides. It's very much let's roll up our sleeves and get in the work and be better humans as best as we can. And then the third way I would say is, it's these different events. Yeah. And we've really kind of shifted to have the events be more about experiences. And how do because I think the way that people really connect is through experiences. So I'm more and more, I feel like we're in the memory making business, and I want to just help you make memories with the members of our community that actually turns into building trust, deeper relationships. And as an example of that, so we did a comedy night where we had about 20 to 30 of our members. Some of them brought their significant others. We went out and went out to a comedy club, local comedy club, and we just got to laugh, right? So, and then there was a kind of a VIP experience of the before and after, but creating those experiences around ways for our members to connect in different ways. Yeah. That's going to be way more memorable and way more impactful than drinks at a bar at a happy hour, which we do that really well. Yeah. And we have versions of that we're still going to do, but it's more about how do we take that and kind of attach it to an experience.
Right. So I know we've joked about the fact that I've come to the stretches. I'm part of the group. Yeah. Haven't been to as many of the social aspects, but we did the axe throwing. Yes. And you guys do an annual sort of end of the year kickoff to the new year event, which is amazing. Yeah. It's just an incredible event. You can totally tell the details you put into it.
That's the one time a year where Christina and I get to put our creative hats on, pull the event production experience that we have, and really get to have fun with something that we're proud to create. And Christina's already been working on this upcoming year since April, I think. So she's had idea, concept, and she's already starting to work on some of it.
Doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, she like we were during that event last year. She's already started talking about what she wanted to do for I'm like, can we just enjoy this one?
Right. We just
got here.
Yeah, right. And already you want to change it for next year.
But that's how she is. I mean, our relationship, our dynamic. She's very much shoot, ready, aim. Right. Yeah. Even with the podcast that we recently launched. Yeah. Again, thank you for being the first guest on that. That was so much fun for us. But I sat down with her. She's wanted to do that for a while, and it was very much. I just told her, I'm like, what's the easiest way for us to get started? Let's do that. Right. She's like, oh. And then the next week we had 6 interviews on the calendar. Right. I was like, oh crap, okay. Yeah, right. We're in it. We're doing it. We're doing it.
Right. Once you put that first foot forward, the momentum just takes off.
Yeah, that's how she is, and that's what I love about her. So she gets things done. Yeah. And sometimes I have to rein her in a little bit, but she's very much, and that's part of, to kind of go back to why we started this. When it's kind of our love story too. So when we got married, she actually proposed to me. And
Wow.
the way she did it, she says, I have this crazy idea. So my birthday was New Year's Eve. I was turning 30. She's like, what if we have this big party, invite all of our friends? What if we get married? And I was like, what?
That's crazy.
She's like, I'm like, did you just propose to me? And she's like, well, what do you think? And it's a really good example of just like, she has this idea.
Right.
And I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
let's do that.
Right.
And then how do we make that happen? We planned it
Right.
in 4 months and had 150 people. And it was a surprise for our families.
That's amazing.
And then we had a bunch of people show up. There was actually a couple surprises to it, but it was, again, bringing people together
Right.
in a really special way.
Right.
That to this day we have friends that go, that was the best, not just the best wedding, but the best New Year's I've had. And they call us every year and kind of say that.
It's
so,
amazing.
Yeah.
Well, it starts with sort of your heart of,
Yeah.
what you're trying to accomplish is to help people.
Right.
And that's the most important thing. And that's what I've always loved about you guys and this group and this organization is it's not about you and how you can be more successful, but how can we make our members more successful? How can we help them better their lives and have better relationships? And the results all come together.
Well, this came up when we were on the podcast.
Yeah.
Was the Zig Ziglar quote, right? And so if I can help, how do I help? If I help anyone, what is it?
How do I help? How do I get success? Is
when I help, I can have anything I want in this world as long as I help enough people get what they want.
Exactly.
Right.
Right.
And so I think there's a version of that I just really, really believe. And
Yeah.
the more successful you are as a member, the more that you're going to be excited to be part of it. The more that that's going to spread and kind of build itself. Right. So yeah, how can we just put people in the right place to be successful?
Right. Well, and like I said, your intention is you're making your connections. You've introduced me to tons of people. You're always thinking, how can I connect this person with someone else, and it leads to success for everyone.
Right. And I think that's part of when, in the very beginning I said, this is for connectors and leaders. So where we look for people that are connectors or people that want to learn how to be a better connector.
Right.
Right. Because I think there's a difference. The trusted advisor and connector are kind of, they're same, I think, to a certain extent.
Right.
But the difference would be, so as a trusted advisor, I might say, hey, Bryan, do you know anyone that does X? Right? And then you go, of course, I have these resources, and maybe I'm part of 6 Degrees or another group where I have the resources, but I'm asking you for the connection.
Right.
The connector piece is being more proactive.
Right.
And going, I heard you say this, this, and this. Would it be helpful if I connect you with this person?
Right.
Or the person might not even know that they need it.
Yeah.
But the way that they're talking about it, so it's actually being able to understand and recognize those patterns.
Yeah.
And be more proactive as a connector.
Right.
That's who Christina and I are. And
yeah.
We kind of try to lead by example with that. Again, to support our members more than anything else.
Right.
And when that happens, it's what if we have a community that's
All
doing that? Like
right.
what positive impact, what kind of tidal wave can that have
totally
in the San Diego community?
Well,
right
and
now.
the stretches are designed that way, you know, and the hour and a half, it's a great intense hour and a half of exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, 100%. The intentionality part is, we want to, so much of groups can just be, let's go around the whole circle and spend 45 minutes on just introductions.
Right.
Right. And it's like, no, let's do that in 10 minutes.
Right.
And then let's focus on how do we help each other? How do we support each other? How can we be resources for each other's businesses, for each other's clients?
Right.
Here's an exercise, here's an activity, here's something that gets people to think a little bit more.
Right. How can we grow as people and professionals?
Right. Yeah, 100%. So, yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I love it. Well, 6 Degrees, you got to check it out. There's more information on screen. If you're listening as a podcast, you obviously can't see it, but it's in the caption. But you have Eric's email, you have the website there. Definitely check them out if you're at all interested in getting some better, deeper connections and relationships in business. He's the one you got to talk to. Eric, thanks very much for coming.
Thanks for having me. I'm sorry Christina couldn't be here. She's actually who you need to talk to. She's much more the type of person that she's just the go-getter. So she's more eloquent than I am. So
you did great, and we miss her being here. But if someone wants to join,
either of us, we can both talk. But
100%.
She's out in the world more. So if you haven't seen her on LinkedIn,
she'll be there.
She's a little bit more active.
Yeah, right. It's all right. Cool. Thanks, Eric.
Thanks so much.